I'm sure you've heard people tell you to go big or go home, or to 10x it, or to shoot for the stars, and even if you miss, you'll land on the moon, or whatever it is. And I'm here to tell you that you should go small or go home, and you should 10% it, and that you shouldn't be shooting for the stars and all that, but rather you should be shooting for, actually I don't really get that metaphor, so I'm not sure what I'd say there. But anyway, I'm here telling you that you shouldn't always worry about being big, but many times, in fact, very often, you should worry about being smaller and try to be smaller. So let's get into that. Now let's say you have a prospective client or someone you could contact for a job or something like this. And there are a couple things you could do. You could contact this person and you could have a brand new cool website that shows, hi, I'm John Smith and I provide, French to German translations, or better yet, Smith & Company. We provide German to French translations, and make it seem like you're this company and you have all these people behind you. And quite a few people do this, by the way. For those of you who don't do this, it might seem a bit odd, but quite a few people do this in the sense that they try to create a website from the beginning and make themselves sound like an agency. A lot of translators will do this. A lot of freelancers do this in general. And then you contact the prospective client and you say, we can handle anything you want, and we can handle, we've worked with great clients, and we're recognized leaders in the industry, blah, blah, blah. Or you could contact someone from your personal email address and you could say, hi, I perform German to French translations. I'd be happy to translate your marketing material if you'd like. And here's my portfolio, here are the clients I've worked with, etc. I'm here to tell you that more often than not, the second approach will work a lot better. And why is this? Well, for a number of reasons. First of all, for example, when I'm hiring someone and I see that it's a company rather than a person, that sets off some red flags. A company tells me they have a lot of overhead, that it's going to cost more, there's probably more bureaucracy, etc., etc. But if I'm hiring just a person, I feel like, well, I can talk to that person and I can figure stuff out with them. It'll probably cost less as well, and it can be more customized, and I know I'm talking to that individual person and I won't get sent to this department or that person or whatever it might be. And it just gives a feeling that you're dealing with another human being rather than an entity. And very often, this can really work in your favor, especially when you are a human being and not an entity, because it's something that's very exhausting and difficult to fake if you can't fake it yourself. And I say this also because I run an agency, but it's just me, and I work with other freelancers, but I'm the only project manager really here. And so I'm always in limbo between that just one person, but we're a whole company sort of thing. And I see how very often, even for me, I'm not going to lie about anything, but very often people regard it as a bit odd. And so if you're just one translator offering your own language combination, but you're trying to sound like a company, people, first of all, a lot of people will assume that you are an agency, and so that you'll charge more. So people in the industry, if they're in the freelance or in the translation industry, then they might not hire you purely because of that reason. Second of all, they'll sort of assume that there is some bureaucracy and that they're going to have to deal with that when dealing with you. You probably have package deals. If you want to get something approved or make a change, it has to go through a chain of command or something like that. They're not sure if the project manager they're dealing with is the CEO, or if you are the CEO, quote unquote, of the company, then maybe you're really busy dealing with a lot of people, and that client is just one of 10 clients. So it's a lot easier to add that personal touch and establish that personal relationship if you go a bit smaller and become more relatable. And you can do this simply by saying, I'm a freelance translator, or I'm a freelancer in general, and this is what I do, and I'd love to help you out. Let's have a discussion about it and see what we can do. This is a lot more approachable than trying to sound like a big company and all impressive and anything like that. And it's something, quite frankly, that I see all too often. And I've talked about it before in the videos. I've talked about it individually to people who approach me with this. You know, say they want to set up a website right at the beginning, and they call themselves an agency and stuff like that. And it's this whole idea that you want to sound big, you know, and this whole idea of fake it till you make it means that you want to sound bigger than you are. And I'm here to tell you that's not always the case. In fact, from what I've seen, more often than not, the opposite is the case. And you should try to act a bit smaller if you can. And long after I had gotten my LuganoTranslations.com URL, I was still using my Gmail to contact prospective clients. Anytime that I was performing the translations myself as a freelance translator, I used my Gmail. And this was on purpose. I did not want to sound like I was part of an agency, but that I was just myself, because that's what I was, working as a freelance translator. And I noticed this because I noticed this was sort of my thinking and my bias when translators will contact me. So this is just something to keep in mind. Don't always try to get bigger and try to act bigger and show yourself as being bigger than what you are. And don't be worried about being small, because that's sort of what a lot of people prefer to work with. You definitely should be a pleasure to work with and be able to get stuff done, but you can be yourself and you don't have to be some big entity. And yeah, that's all I wanted to communicate with you this time. And otherwise, I will talk to you next time. Thanks. Bye. Savedum.